In 1974, humanity sent its first deliberate message to extraterrestrial intelligence. Using the massive Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico, scientists beamed a coded transmission toward the stars, containing everything aliens would need to know about us: our DNA, our appearance, our location in the solar system, and our technology. It was meant as a demonstration of human achievement, not a serious attempt at conversation. After all, the message was aimed at a star cluster 25,000 light-years away. Any response would take 50,000 years to make the round trip. But on August 21st, 2001, 27 years after that original transmission, something impossible appeared in a field next to the Chilbolton radio telescope in Hampshire, England. It was a crop circle, but not just any crop circle. When researchers decoded the formation, they discovered it was an exact replica of the original Arecibo Message, with terrifying modifications that suggested someone or something had been listening, and they had sent a reply. The story begins in 1974 with one of the most ambitious scientific experiments in human history. The Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico housed the world's largest radio telescope, a massive dish carved into a natural depression in the island's mountains. On November 16th, during a ceremony to mark major upgrades to the facility, scientists led by astronomer Frank Drake decided to test their new transmission capabilities by sending a message into space. The team, which included Carl Sagan and other prominent researchers, spent months crafting what would become known as the Arecibo Message. This wasn't a random collection of information. It was a carefully designed introduction to human civilization, encoded in binary and transmitted at a frequency of 2,380 megahertz with a power of 450 kilowatts. The message contained 1,679 bits of information, arranged in a rectangle of 23 by 73 pixels. Numbers chosen because they were prime and would force any intelligent recipient to arrange the data correctly. When properly decoded, the message revealed a sophisticated pictogram containing 8 distinct sections of information about humanity and Earth. Starting from the top, the message showed the numbers 1 through 10 in binary code, followed by the atomic numbers of the elements essential for life on Earth: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. Below that was a representation of the chemical structure of DNA, including the number of nucleotides in the human genome. The message then depicted a stick figure of a human being, along with data about our average height and the population of Earth at the time, roughly 4 billion people. Next came a diagram of our solar system, with the third planet from the Sun highlighted to indicate Earth's position. Finally, at the bottom of the message was a representation of the Arecibo telescope itself, along with its diameter measurement, showing any recipients exactly what technology had been used to send the transmission. The message was aimed at Messier 13, a globular cluster of hundreds of thousands of stars located 25,000 light-years away in the constellation Hercules. The transmission lasted just under 3 minutes, after which the message began its long journey through space at the speed of light. Scientists calculated that even if the message reached its destination and somehow prompted an immediate reply, humanity wouldn't hear back for 50,000 years. But 27 years later, something extraordinary happened that challenged every assumption about the message's journey through space. On the morning of August 21st, 2001, residents near the village of Chilbolton in Hampshire, England, made a startling discovery. In a field adjacent to the Chilbolton radio telescope, one of Britain's most important radio astronomy facilities, an intricate crop circle had appeared overnight. But this wasn't one of the simple geometric patterns that had become common in the English countryside. This formation was rectangular, measuring approximately 200 feet by 100 feet, and consisted of thousands of tiny squares that looked remarkably like pixels in a digital image. Local researchers and crop circle investigators were immediately struck by the formation's unusual appearance. Unlike the curved, flowing designs typical of most crop circles, this one was composed entirely of straight lines and right angles, creating a grid-like pattern that seemed almost technological in nature. Each pixel in the formation had been created by flattening crops in different directions, creating varying shades that formed a complex image when viewed from above. When aerial photographs of the formation were analyzed, researchers made an astonishing discovery. The crop circle was an almost perfect reproduction of the Arecibo Message that had been transmitted into space 27 years earlier. The same 23 by 73 pixel grid, the same basic layout, the same fundamental structure, but with crucial differences that suggested this wasn't simply a human recreation of the original message. The implications were staggering. Someone or something had not only received humanity's message to the stars, but had understood it well enough to send a response. And that response had appeared not as a radio signal, but as a physical formation in a field near one of Britain's most sophisticated radio telescopes. If this incredible discovery has your mind racing with possibilities, hit that like button and subscribe, because the decoded message contains revelations that will shake you to your core. The decoded reply contained modifications that were both subtle and profound, suggesting a level of intelligence and scientific knowledge that exceeded human capabilities at the time. The most significant changes appeared in several key sections of the message, each revealing disturbing information about the senders. In the section depicting the chemical elements essential for life, the formation included an additional element that hadn't been in the original human message: silicon with atomic number 14. This addition was placed precisely in the correct position between oxygen and phosphorus, suggesting the senders had a different biochemical foundation for life, one that incorporated silicon alongside the carbon-based chemistry familiar to humans. The DNA structure section showed even more dramatic alterations. While the basic double helix structure was preserved, the genetic information had been modified to show a different nucleotide count and molecular configuration. The changes suggested a genetic structure that was similar to human DNA, but fundamentally different in key ways, implying the senders had evolved along a different biological pathway. Perhaps most unsettling was the modification to the humanoid figure in the message. The original Arecibo transmission had included a simple stick figure representing the average human form. The crop circle version retained the same basic bipedal structure, but with one crucial difference. The head was significantly larger in proportion to the body, creating the classic grey alien appearance that had become familiar from UFO encounter reports. The population figure had also been dramatically altered. While the original message indicated Earth's population of roughly 4 billion humans, the crop circle response suggested a much larger population, over 21 billion entities. This implied a civilization far more numerous than humanity, possibly spread across multiple worlds or existing in ways that allowed for greater population density. The solar system diagram revealed perhaps the most intriguing modifications. Instead of highlighting only the third planet from the Sun, as humans had done to indicate Earth, the formation showed emphasis on the third, fourth, and fifth planets. This suggested the senders inhabited multiple worlds in their star system, or at least had significant presence on planets that would correspond to Earth, Mars, and Jupiter in our solar system. Most remarkably, the representation of the transmission technology had been completely replaced. Where the original message had shown the Arecibo telescope, the crop circle depicted something entirely different: a pattern that matched exactly a crop circle that had appeared in the same field 1 year earlier, in 2000. This earlier formation had been dismissed at the time as just another mysterious crop circle, but in the context of the response message, it suddenly took on new significance as a representation of the alien transmission technology. The precision required to create such a formation was staggering. The crop circle contained over 23,000 individual elements, each positioned with mathematical accuracy to recreate the binary message format. The formation had to be planned and executed with an understanding of both the original Arecibo Message and advanced knowledge of binary code, genetics, chemistry, and astronomy. But the Chilbolton crop circle was only the beginning of an even more mysterious sequence of events. 3 days after the appearance of the main message formation on August 24, 2001, another crop circle appeared in a field just 200 meters away from the first. This second formation was even more extraordinary than the first, depicting what appeared to be a face in remarkable detail. The face formation measured approximately 150 feet in width and was composed of the same pixel-like construction as the message circle. When viewed from above, it showed the clear features of a humanoid face, but with distinctly non-human characteristics. The eyes were larger than normal human proportions, the face was more angular, and the overall appearance matched descriptions of extraterrestrial beings reported in UFO encounters around the world. The level of detail in the face formation was unprecedented in crop circle history. Individual facial features were clearly defined, with subtle gradations in the flattened crops, creating shadows and highlights that gave the image a three-dimensional quality. The precision required to create such an image, using only agricultural crops as a medium, suggested a level of planning and execution that challenged conventional explanations. Some researchers noted similarities between the crop circle face and the famous face on Mars, photographed by the Viking spacecraft in 1976. While the Mars formation was later determined to be a natural rock formation, the resemblance raised questions about whether the crop circle creators were making a deliberate reference to humanity's speculation about alien life. The timing and location of both formations added to the mystery. The Chilbolton radio telescope, situated just meters away from both crop circles, was one of Britain's most important facilities for radio astronomy and SETI research. The symbolism of alien messages appearing next to a facility dedicated to searching for extraterrestrial intelligence seemed too significant to be coincidental. In 2002, the mystery deepened when a third formation appeared in the same area. This crop circle depicted what appeared to be a disc-shaped object with intricate geometric patterns, which some researchers interpreted as a representation of the alien spacecraft or transmission device referenced in the modified Arecibo Message. The three formations, the message, the face, and the disc, seemed to form a coherent narrative of contact and communication. Together, they suggested that extraterrestrial beings had not only received and understood humanity's message, but had taken the extraordinary step of sending a physical reply to Earth. Scientific analysis of the crop circles revealed additional anomalies that defied conventional explanation. The crops had been flattened in complex patterns that would have required precise planning and execution to achieve the level of detail observed. Unlike simple crop circles created by human hoaxers using planks and ropes, these formations showed evidence of techniques that seemed beyond current human capabilities. Electromagnetic anomalies were detected in and around the formations, with some researchers reporting equipment malfunctions and unusual readings in the affected areas. The crops themselves showed signs of cellular changes that were inconsistent with simple mechanical flattening, suggesting exposure to some form of energy or technology not available to human crop circle creators. The response from the scientific community was mixed. While mainstream researchers dismissed the formations as elaborate hoaxes, others argued that the level of complexity and precision suggested something beyond human creation. The SETI Institute itself was forced to issue a statement addressing the crop circles, acknowledging their significance while maintaining that they were likely human-made. The controversy surrounding the Chilbolton formations highlighted the broader debate about crop circles and their origins. While many crop circles have been conclusively proven to be human creations, a small percentage continue to display characteristics that challenge conventional explanation. The Chilbolton formations represented the most sophisticated and meaningful crop circles ever documented, suggesting a level of intelligence and purpose that went far beyond artistic expression or pranks. The implications of the Chilbolton crop circles extend far beyond the phenomenon of crop formations themselves. If the formations were indeed created by non-human intelligence, they represent the first confirmed communication from an extraterrestrial civilization. The fact that this communication took the form of a reply to humanity's own message suggests that we are being actively monitored, and that our attempts to reach out to other civilizations have been successful. The choice to respond through crop circles rather than radio transmission raises intriguing questions about alien technology and communication preferences. Perhaps radio signals are too easily dismissed or ignored by human scientists, while physical formations in crop fields are impossible to overlook. The crop circle medium also allows for complex visual information to be transmitted in a way that transcends language barriers. The location of the formations near the Chilbolton radio telescope suggests that the creators understood human radio astronomy and deliberately chose a site that would be meaningful to researchers. This implies a sophisticated understanding of human technology and scientific institutions, suggesting long-term observation of our civilization. The timing of the formations, appearing 27 years after the original Arecibo Message, also raises questions about the nature of interstellar communication. While the original message was aimed at a star cluster 25,000 light-years away, the crop circle response appeared much sooner than would be possible if it had traveled to and from that distant target. This suggests either that the message was intercepted by closer extraterrestrial observers, or that alien civilizations have communication capabilities that exceed the speed of light. 20 years after the Chilbolton formations first appeared, they remain one of the most compelling pieces of evidence for intelligent non-human creation of crop circles. Despite extensive investigation by both believers and skeptics, no definitive explanation for their creation has been established. The formations were too complex and precise to be easily dismissed as hoaxes, yet too extraordinary to be accepted by mainstream science as genuine alien communication. The legacy of the Chilbolton crop circles continues to influence discussions about extraterrestrial intelligence and interstellar communication. They represent a paradigm shift in how we might expect alien contact to occur, not through dramatic arrival of spacecraft or radio signals from space, but through subtle, symbolic messages left in the very landscape of our planet. Whether the Chilbolton formations were created by extraterrestrial intelligence, advanced human technology, or some as yet unknown phenomenon, they stand as a testament to the possibility that we are not alone in the universe. They remind us that communication with other civilizations might take forms we haven't anticipated, and that the answers to humanity's greatest questions might appear not in our radio telescopes or space programs, but in the fields and countryside around us. The Chilbolton crop circles changed everything we thought we knew about the possibility of alien communication. They demonstrated that if extraterrestrial civilizations are trying to contact us, they might be using methods far more creative and unexpected than we ever imagined. And somewhere in the English countryside, the evidence of that communication continues to challenge our understanding of our place in the universe. Disclaimer: This video is based on documented events, eyewitness accounts, and speculative analysis. All interpretations are intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.